Welcome back to Cycle Wisdom, where we empower women to restore natural menstrual cycles to improve health and promote fertility. I'm your host, Dr. Monica Minjeur, and I'm so glad you are listening today. On today's episode, we're going to be talking all about supplements from a standpoint of how to know what you're actually getting, as well as a general approach on how to get the most out of your supplement recommendations. So let's start off with a patient story about a client of mine who we'll call Lynn. Now, she came to see me because she had been diagnosed with PCOS. And as part of our initial intake, we always ask not only about prescription medications that someone is taking, but also for a complete list of their vitamins and supplements. Now, when Lynn shared her list of over-the-counter products with me, my jaw dropped because she handed me a list of 27 different supplements or vitamins that she was taking. When I asked her about this list and how she chose these supplements, there was a myriad of different responses as to why she was on each supplement. Now, Lynn had started off with seeing a different healthcare provider who had recommended about 15 of these different supplements, and they conveniently sold all of them to her at a cost of about $500 per month. In general, Lynn didn't know exactly why each of the supplements was being taken, but she was told that they would improve her PCOS, her health symptoms, as well as increase her chances of fertility, which was her ultimate goal. Many of the other supplements she had started after seeing them on social media, reading about them on blog posts, or at the recommendation of well-meaning friends. Unfortunately, what happened over time is that Lynn's symptoms did not improve in the way she thought they would while taking these supplements. And I think there's a tendency for a lot of women to believe, well, this isn't working, so I must not be doing enough. Or maybe I'm not taking quite the right thing yet, so I should just add on this one other thing. Throughout this process, Lynn never ended up stopping any of the supplements, and she just kept adding on because she was desperate to fix her underlying health concerns and achieve a pregnancy. She was worried that maybe she would stop taking the one supplement that would be the key to helping to fix all of those underlying problems. When Lynn and I talked about her treatment plan, we of course discussed charting of her cycles and timing lab work in order to get an appropriate diagnosis. However, I also made a promise to Lynn at her very first visit that we would work together to cut her supplement regimen down significantly and leave her on no more than 5 supplements. Her initial response was shock and honestly some fear. She had been listening to and following the advice of these other healthcare providers and her friends and her own research, which all led her to believe she needed to be on all of these miracle cures in order to have normal cycles and achieve a healthy pregnancy. However, by the time she came to see me, Lynn also knew that what she had been doing was not working, and she was ready to try something different. So over the course of the next few months, we worked together to figure out a comprehensive treatment plan, and we were actually able to get Lynn down to just being on 3 different supplements. No more a list of 27, just 3. My focus was on targeting what the things were that Lynn's body actually needed based on her type of PCOS and her existing lifestyle habits. We determined that Lynn wasn't taking into account that she was exercising regularly, and she already ate a very well-rounded, healthy diet. A lot of the things that she was taking from a vitamin and supplement standpoint were duplicating what she was already doing with her good dietary habits. So often I see women get a particular diagnosis, or worse yet, just a suspected diagnosis, and then all of a sudden they're put on this whole regimen of supplements. This can be incredibly expensive, but it could even be harmful or counteracting some of the things that we're trying to fix. So let's start off with talking a little bit about how supplements are regulated. Please remember that vitamins, supplements, and anything you can get over the counter is not FDA approved. In order to get FDA approval, you need to prove that the benefits of a product outweigh the risks, and you need to go through a rigorous series of testing both in labs and in human subjects. Because of this, the FDA will approve prescription-strength medications, but does not get into approval of anything you can get over the counter. Now, the FDA can get involved if there are specific reports of significant harm coming from these products, but they don't provide any approval or assurance of the safety of these products prior to being released on the market. The FDA does also monitor labeling to ensure there are not any false claims that state a supplement can cure, heal, prevent, or be a substitute for appropriate medical treatment. This is why all supplements will have a label that says they should be taken only at the direction of a healthcare professional. Another thing to realize is that because there is not this FDA approval process, some supplements can have significant variability in the actual dosage that is being provided within each pill. For example, if your product says that you are getting 100 milligram tablets, that may actually range from pill to pill, even within the same bottle, and can be upwards of 20% difference depending upon the manufacturer. So this means that in some of your tablets you may get 80 milligrams, some may be up to 120 milligrams. Now this could really create some problems, especially if we're trying to target a specific end goal of achieving either a symptom result or a change in your actual lab numbers. The other thing to note is that there are many vitamins and supplements out there that are not third-party tested. And what this means is that the manufacturer is the only one that's saying it's any good. There's nothing from a third party that's testing to make sure that what they say is in their product is actually there, and what they say is not in their product is not present. Unfortunately, there are companies that can lie about these things or that don't have the rigorous testing required to make sure that the highest safety standards are met. Now, I don't want you to be afraid of taking over-the-counter products, but I do want you to be aware that not all products are created equally. I also don't want you to think that I'm against vitamins or supplements as a whole. In fact, there are some very excellent companies out there that make supplements that I recommend as part of the treatment plans that I utilize with my own patients on a regular basis. The difference is that none of my patients come in getting a particular diagnosis and then a recommendation to go home and start on anywhere from 5 to 12 supplements. Every supplement recommendation that we make is based on your individual lab results from a standpoint of what your body actually needs. Every supplement should have an intentional plan with a focused end goal of what we are looking to achieve as far as a change in your menstrual cycle charting, improvement of menstrual cycle symptoms, or lab result changes. Most importantly, you should be able to know what it is that we're trying to change, what the timeline should look for when we should see that improvement, and have an objective, measurable endpoint. As an example, if I start a patient on myo-inositol to help improve their ovulatory function, I will tell my client, we should expect to see that ovulation should be more apparent in your charting cycles. When we check a follow-up lab test, we should expect to see that your LH to FSH ratio improves closer to 1:1. And in general, we see that this change can occur within 6 to 8 weeks, but we typically will keep you on this supplement for a total of 6 months. And so if you'll notice, I gave very specific details as far as what the endpoint should be: improved ovulation function with charting and improved ratios on follow-up lab testing. I gave a timeline as far as when we should see those improvements happening, as well as a long-term goal for how long to expect to take this medication. This helps to set the stage for knowing if a supplement is working well or if a change needs to be made as far as dosing change or when it's appropriate to stop the supplement altogether. The final point that I'd like to make today is talking about some of the unknown impacts or side effects of vitamins or supplements. Unfortunately, a lot of people assume that because you can get something over the counter, that means that it's 100% safe. Now, this may be fine if you look at how the majority of people react to a particular product, but it doesn't take into account if you are taking that supplement along with 15 other over-the-counter products or your prescription medications or your particular unique metabolism. We know that there are certain vitamins or supplements that will actually counteract each other. So you may be taking one vitamin that in general is supposed to decrease your estrogen levels because you took a quiz online and found out that you have estrogen dominance. But you're also taking another supplement that's supposed to improve your libido, which actually in turn can increase those estrogen levels downstream. And so what happens is that you can be counteracting one supplement by taking another supplement. Even though they may both be listed in the category of helping to improve estrogen dominance and libido, they actually can have the exact opposite effect of each other and leave your hormones in worse shape than when you started. There are other supplements that are out there in the realm of menstrual cycle concerns and fertility that actually have unknown effects when it comes to your hormones. In fact, you can actually find contradicting studies that show that a particular supplement may increase your androgen levels, and another study that shows that same supplement will decrease your androgen levels. So this is why it's incredibly important to understand why you are taking a supplement, as well as be working with a healthcare professional who can help you monitor your response over time. Now, none of the supplements we've discussed here today are meant to be specific medical advice, and I don't want to place any guilt or shame on anyone who is taking vitamins or supplements because they definitely do have their place. However, I would ask you to reevaluate what you're taking on a regular basis to determine if this vitamin or supplement is actually doing what it's supposed to be doing. And if it's not, then it's time to come off of it. There's no use in spending extra money and time and energy and heartache trying to fix an underlying problem with supplements that aren't actually hitting the mark. We need to realize the importance of treating these vitamins and supplements as if they are actual medical recommendations from a healthcare professional who understands when, why, and how to use these supplements in a way that actually makes a difference in your body. Imagine how your supplement intake would change if you knew exactly why you were taking each vitamin and if it was actually getting you the results you needed, while minimizing your exposure to potential side effects or ineffective treatments. That way forward is possible, and I can't wait to work with you to help get you on the right supplements that will actually make a difference to increase your quality of life by healing your menstrual cycles, to improve your health, and promote fertility. If you're ready to work with our elite team of healthcare professionals, go to our website, radiantclinic.com, to schedule a free discovery call with me and learn more about our package-based pricing for healthcare. We are currently able to see people for in-person appointments in the Cedar Rapids, Iowa area, or can arrange for a telehealth visit if you live in the state of Iowa. Thank you so much for listening to this episode. Please share this podcast with someone in your life who would benefit from our services. Remember to subscribe to this podcast for more empowering content. I sincerely appreciate your support, and I look forward to sharing more with you on our next episode of Cycle Wisdom.